Hi, I'm Gary White for Channel 6, Central Kentucky Television, and I'm here with Juanita Hearn here at the Marion County Extension Office. And today we're going to make some looks holiday anyway. It's an apple cranberry Waldorf salad, right?
Yes, that is correct, Gary. You know, salad is always good any time of year, right?
That's right. Right. And with the colors, because it looks like you have a lot of red and green, so it's very holiday and festive, right?
Yes, it is. It's very, very holiday. And, you know, we think of red and green. Now, you know, people are getting kind of away from the traditional red and green. They're putting every other color in our holiday season, but that's okay. But I'm still a traditional. I like that red and green. Don't you, Gary?
Right. Will look good.
Yes.
Cool. And it sounds healthy-ish, too.
It is healthiest. This is one of our plated up recipes. Again, like I always said, our recipes that we do are tried and true from the University of Kentucky. And this is one of our little plated up ones. And the television audience can see they're on a little card. And we have a lot of these little plated up recipe cards here with all kinds of recipes on them. So if anybody is wanting any of these type of little recipe cards, please come by the office, and they're free.
Absolutely.
See, that's even better, free.
Absolutely.
And they have the recipe on the front, and on the back, it's talking about the seasons of that particular fruit or vegetable. It tells the nutritional facts, it tells the selection, how to store it, a lot of good little information in this little index card.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. And it says Kentucky apples back there. So are apples in season now?
Well, now they said the apples here you see in season is early summer through December.
Okay.
So you don't see many apples here still on the trees, that people have already harvested their apples.
Right.
But now if they have harvested their apples, they may have already stored them. So, and if you'll notice, a lot of times when our apples or any of our fruit or our vegetables, if they're in season, the price is a little lower in the grocery store too. And that always helps, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's always good too to support local vendors. So if you do know of any apple growers, it would be a good way to utilize them too.
It sure would. And you know, apples is so easy. You can grab one of these apples, put it in your backpack or your lunch pail or whatever, and it's a lot of good vitamins, a lot of good fiber in that apple. So a lot of good food right there. And it's easy. And it's pretty cheap.
Absolutely. So we have two different kind of apples I see there. What are we using?
Okay. Can I go with the recipe and then we'll just talk about it? All right. We're going to use Granny Smith apples, you can see. I don't know how many's a big favor of Granny Smiths, but we're going to use a cup of chopped Granny Smith apples. We're going to use 1 cup chopped of red delicious apples. We're going to use 1 cup of diced celery. We're going to cut up 1 cup of half green seedless grapes. And we're going to use 1 cup of red seedless grapes also. And you kind of notice I've already got those chopped up for us. And then you're going to use a half a cup of dried cranberries. You know, cranberries now is kind of like that little power food, right? We're seeing dried cranberries in a lot of things that we're purchasing. So we're going to use some dried cranberries. And we're also going to use a half a cup of chopped walnuts. We're going to use an 8-ounce non-fat vanilla yogurt. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of honey and 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay. So you notice, Gary, that a lot of this that we have here in this recipe, it may be a lot of things that we already have in our cabinet, right?
Right.
Now, I don't know about if you keep dried cranberries, but maybe you do. Like I said, that's the new superfood, the little go-to food is our dried cranberries. I don't know about the nuts. You may not have those. But, you know, like celery you usually have on hand. Grapes you usually have on hand, and apples you usually have on hand. So this is something that's pretty easy to do.
Great.
And it's very easy. We're going to combine our chopped apples and our diced celery, and we're going to put it in a bowl. And then we're going to add our grapes and our cranberries and walnuts to the mixture. And we're just going to mix that up. And you know, that's going to be very, very colorful. And then in our separate bowl, we're going to add our yogurt, we're going to add our honey, and we're going to add our cinnamon. And then we're going to bring back everything, and then we're going to pour that over it. And that is your dressing. So, you know, you were talking about it being healthy. So it's going to be pretty healthy. We've got, this yields about 8 1-cup serving. And the calories is only 210 calories for a whole cup. Okay. Now, you know, a cup of fruit, you can see I got 1 cup measure here.
Right.
That's 1 cup. So that's not, that's a pretty good little serving, right?
Right.
And so it has a lot of good things in there for us to eat.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Right.
Are you ready to get started, Gary?
I'm ready to get started.
Oh, he's ready
Yes.
to get started.
Right.
Okay. Now, you notice I have my apples here. Now, I want to say that, and I'm sure that everybody's out there, when you're going to get your fruit, be sure to wash that fruit thoroughly. Because we don't know what has been on it, where it's been, who's touched it, or whatever.
Right.
So just make sure that you do cut it, wash it, and then before you cut it. So I'm just going to take my knife here, and Granny Smith apples are hard. You never notice that? Is Granny Smith apples one of your favorites?
If I'm just eating an apple, Red Delicious is what I like to just eat.
Yeah.
But Granny Smith, I like in
things?
pies or whatever, type of that set.
You're kind of like me, Gary. If the Red Delicious is actually my go-to fruit to eat. And you notice this apple is just a little bit hard here. So everybody just bear with me.
And so you chopped up some of the different ingredients. You might see the grapes and the celery up there, but you didn't chop up the apples because apples tend to change of color.
They will turn on us in a very short while. That's why we want to make sure that we only cut our apples. And it's like the apples and a banana. They will, when the air hits them, they're going to turn their color.
Yes. And is there a way to help prevent that or to elongate the different color?
You can put them in like a little vinegar and water solution or some lemon juice. That will kindly help them. But then you've got to dry them off a little bit, get some of that water out of them. So that's why I just like to cut them up as needed, So.
And you're using a nice knife there, so when you are chopping anything, you need to make sure you're utilizing the proper equipment.
Exactly. And you want to make sure that you keep your fingers back, right? We're going to just chop up some of these. And I'm chopping pretty small, but if somebody doesn't like that crunch, they could even dice them, make them dice. This says just chop.
Okay.
So we're just going to put...
See, there's a difference between dicing and chopping too. There's just so much to cooking.
It is so much, that's right. And everybody has their own preference, right?
Right.
And we're getting ready for this Christmas holiday. And, probably a lot of people are chopping and going to be dicing a lot in their own kitchen, right?
Right. Yes, they're going to be preparing a lot of different things for the holidays. In addition, hopefully, they're going to be preparing this Waldorf salad as well that we're giving you. And again, you can get that recipe by visiting the Extension office here in Marion County, or in any of the counties. They have the opportunity to share them as well for the plated up recipes that you have. But this is a nice, healthy, fun dish to make.
Yeah, because a lot of times a lot of people think salad is something healthy for us, and this one is. But when you're making salads, they can start out healthy, but what happens? We start adding this, that, and the other, and they can be a little bit unhealthy, right, Gary?
Absolutely, yes.
So I'm going
Yes, it sounds good when you're having a salad, but then if you douse that salad in various different dressings, it can kind of destroy the effort.
And you noticed I have gotten 2 Granny Smith apples here, and it's probably not going to take but about 1. Okay. Say maybe not quite all over 1. So.
Yeah, so Granny Smith is used a lot for baking and stuff of that nature. Is that right?
Yes, it is. It is because it's a very hard, crisp, apple, and it is a very good to put in pies and those type of things. People may be making apple pies, but that's what, I asked you, did you like to eat them? And a lot of people do like a Granny Smith apple to eat, but I'm like you, I prefer the the red or the Golden Delicious. They're a little softer, The Honey Crisp is a very good apple, too.
Yeah, the Honey Crisp is good, too.
Yes, it is.
So can you tell a flavor difference between the red and yellow or green?
I think I do, and I'm not sure that's in my head or whether I just think it is. But now, this Granny Smith, it's a very hard apple, And to me, it has just a little bit of a little twang to it, a little
more tart.
Yeah, a little bit more tart.
Yes.
So you see, I'm not even going to use my whole cup, my whole apple. We're going to put that, and you notice just a little time that we've been in here that it's beginning to turn a little brown, right, Gary?
Yes, a little bit. Yes, you're right.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad yet.
Not bad yet. But they do, because you was talking about, the air hitting them.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if this apple's going to be real good. You notice my apple looked good on the inside, but I'm not real sure how that's going to be. So we're going to just set that aside, and let's try this one, Gary, okay?
Yep.
Oh.
You don't know until you...
Much better.
That's right.
And those things can happen.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
So Gary's going to scoot that over. And if you notice my red apple, you can tell that I'm cutting it. It's much softer than my green, right?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that makes a little bit of a difference. And everybody kind of has their preference of what kind of apple they like.
Right. And there are various flavors, as you were saying, like the Honeycrisp. That's another little different.
It's a good one. It's a very good apple also to eat.
The only thing is, we hope that you will try and find the apple that suits yours, because apples are good for you nutritionally, right?
Yes, they are. And then you were talking about the holidays coming up. You will notice a lot of times our grocery stores, or even our local grocery stores, they have a lot of apples on sale. They will put them on sale. So that's something to think about.
And it kind of reminds you of fall or going into winter, because it is available at that time too. It's fresh around that time. Cool.
All right, I'm going to get these up.
Now, I was noticing you cut the Granny Smith apple up. Now you're cutting the Red Delicious. You're utilizing the same knife. So when they're clean, you don't need to clean between. Exactly. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're not going to have anything that's cross-contaminated.
Right.
They're just all fruit. They've all been washed. So that is something that we can use. Okay. And I'm using the same cutting board.
Right. And that's important too, because if you were using a meat or something of that nature, you definitely need to switch out, right?
Exactly. Now I've got just a little bit of something there. I'm not real crazy about looking at that apple.
See, with your preparation, it's all different elements that gets it together there.
Exactly.
Well, it looks good.
So we've got about a cup of our apples. So we're just going to set this over to the side.
Okay. So that was our 2 apples. We have a cup of each, cup of the red, cup of the green. We already have our festive colors going on.
All right, now we've got our apples already cut. And you can see the red and green. We're back in that red and green again, right, Gary?
That's right.
So then it says to chop your apples, and we diced 1 cup of celery.
Okay.
And so we're just going to add our celery to this.
And you had already cut that up. Yep.
I cut that. I knew we had a lot of dicing and cutting today. So you can see.
And that won't change its color.
It will not change its color. If you're cutting up celery, anything like that, I like to put it in a Ziploc bag, maybe even with a little paper towel in it, because, celery can have a little bit of liquid, and that way you don't have that liquid.
Okay. Good.
Okay? Now then, we have got that, and we're going to add our grapes. I'm going to do the red.
Okay, that looks good.
And we're going to do the green. We're all about this red and green this morning.
I know. I like it. Very festive. And very flavorful, too, because you are adding various different flavors with the various elements that you're doing. And the crunch, too. I like the crunch, too.
I like that crunch. And too, like a lot of people we were talking about maybe something healthy. But if you're eating something crunchy, it takes us a little longer to chew it, to get it digested a little bit. So maybe we won't eat as much, right?
That's
okay.
True.
So we have got our 1 cup of our Granny Smith apple, 1 cup of our Red Delicious apple, and we have 1 cup of celery, 1 cup of red grapes, and 1 cup of green grapes.
Okay.
So in our other bowl, we're going to put together our yogurt. Gary's going to, he's going to show
A
that.
little bit. That looks pretty good. And nothing on it yet. This is nice.
Nothing on it. You know, I think I could just eat that as is. Couldn't you?
Yeah, nice little fruit salad type of.
So we're going to use our yogurt. And you know, you notice we're never into brands. So if you use a store brand or a name brand, it's all going to be the same.
Right. And this is just traditional plain vanilla yogurt, right?
Yogurt, exactly.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of times what we do, and you're going to notice, this is not going to be something real heavy over the salad. It's going to be very light. So we're going to set that to the side, and then we're going to put our 2 tablespoons of honey. Now, you know, honey, I keep talking about the cranberries being a go-to fruit now. You know, everybody is doing the honey.
Yes.
And we have a lot of local honey people here in Marion County, so.
That's right. And the benefit of local honey can be, if you get it close enough, it can potentially help with allergies. If you're someone who suffers from allergies,
Exactly.
This may help.
And as my allergies act up, I need a lot of honey, you know. And I do get some honey here from our local people. But yesterday when I was at the grocery store, I didn't have any local honey, so I had to purchase some. Kroger was my nearest thing, right, yesterday. So I've got 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to do 1 more tablespoon. And I just like honey. I don't know about you, Gary, but, you know, honey is a good sweetener to add in things, right?
And it never goes bad.
No.
They found honey, I think, from Egyptian times that they could still eat. So.
Right. And, you know, if it turns to sugar, it's not pure honey.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's got a little something else in there, right?
Exactly. Yeah, pretty amazing.
But you was talking about our local people. Like I said, we have local people here that do a lot of honey. So, you know, if you can find them, you get a hold of them, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, and we've got our honey and our vanilla yogurt. So then I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to turn this to the back. Doesn't take much cinnamon. Well, you can see, Gary, I kind of spilt it just a tad, right?
Right.
That's the way cooks do in the kitchen, right?
Exactly.
So
We're here at your place.
Oh, Gary, it'll be okay. All right, so we're just going to mix this up. Can you smell all that cinnamon?
Honestly, not today because I'm stuffed up, but I'm sure it smells wonderful.
Gary's kind of like me. He's got this old allergy and stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I can smell the cinnamon, and it's a wonderful smell, I think.
And it's going to be sweet, too. When you had the cinnamon, you have the honey, you have the...
Vanilla yogurt was kind of thick, but you see here it is thin here now.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we're going to go back. We let that set just for a minute. So we're going to put 1.5 cups of our dried cranberries. Okay? Again, I'm saying that's that new superfood. You know, it used to be raisins all the time, right? And now we're doing the dried cranberries. And I like cranberries in things anymore.
I do too, actually.
And then we're coming back with some more red, right?
Adding some more color.
We're going to have some more red. And then you were talking about the crunch, and you've got this.
Well, those nuts are going to add some crunch too.
Yes, it is.
Very nice.
Set those to the side.
And they add a different texture too, which is nice.
They do. And you noticed I bought a bag of 5-ounce dried cranberries, and I have just a very few little cranberries left in there. So, you know, probably whoever's making this, those few that's in there, they'll probably just use the whole bag, right? And then I have a 1 bag of 1/2 cup of walnut pieces. Okay. So, you know, you're talking about that crunch, and you can see it is beginning to be very, very, very colorful.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to use, and this is 1/2 cup, and I did not measure it, Gary. I'm taking their word for it, and I should have, but most usually it is true whenever you're buying those.
Right.
And I know these people are out here baking and purchasing things, but you can see now we've got many, many colors here in our bowl.
That bowl filled up, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Like I said, this is going to make 8 1-cup servings. So
Yes.
then we're just going to take our dressing.
Pour it on over.
We're going to pour it all over.
I bet that dressing would be good to have just by itself, too.
It would too, because I like yogurt, any kind, the honey, everything in it is good. Cinnamon is, now they're telling us how good cinnamon is for us. So, it's things that we have used all of our life that we know that they're good, and now we're just having to have somebody to tell us how good they are for us, right?
Now other people can agree with us.
Yes. And again, I'm thinking a lot of people will, they usually maybe have honey or some of those things. And it seems like I'm kind of making a mess over here, Gary.
That's okay.
But if you noticed, it didn't look like a lot of dressing that was going over this. You just want it to be coated. Right. You don't want it to be saturated.
Right. Which is kind of the key for dressings in general, right? Even when you're making a traditional salad.
Just a traditional. I think that's where we get into trouble a lot of times with our salads. They're so healthy for us, but we want to kind of submerge them, I want to say, in the dressing.
Right.
And then that is our salad. We've got all kinds of colors.
Absolutely.
We've got all kinds of crunch. And then, of course, anytime that you're making something, if it sets and chills, the flavors all go through it. It's much better, too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
But I'm telling you, this is a very easy salad. Now, I know that there's a lot of apple Waldorf salads out there, and there's a lot of more chopping and more things that are in this. But to me, this is one of the easy ways to do. Right. And this is something, you could do. We're thinking of all kinds of salads during the holiday. But, you can see it's very colorful.
It looks
very,
great.
very colorful.
Well, good job. Very nice. And again, that's the apple cranberry Waldorf salad. You want to just tell us one more time what's in there?
Okay. It is 1 cup of chopped Granny Smith apples. And if you notice, I only took 1 Granny Smith. 1 chopped red delicious apple. And of course, you've got to watch them apples. You're going to make sure, because you all noticed that the inside of one of my apples was not good. 1 cup of diced celery. 1 cup of half seedless green grapes. 1 cup of half seedless red grapes. 1 1/2 cup of dried cranberries. 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. 8-ounce non-fat vanilla yogurt. 2 tablespoons of honey, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And all you want to do is make sure you do all of your apples, your grapes, and your cranberries, have all of that in before you do your dressing. And just make your dressing on the side of your yogurt, your honey, and your cinnamon, and then just pour over it. Then all you have to do is just cover it and put it in the refrigerator and let it set and chill. And you've got a nice, healthy Waldorf salad. And again, it makes about 8 1-cup servings, and 1 cup is only 210 calories. Fantastic. So then that way you get to eat a little bit more mashed potatoes or whatever with your other meal, right?
That's right. This would be a nice little side dish, or even appetizer maybe.
An appetizer, that's right. And of course, it's so colorful. What I like. Your dessert, yeah. It could be a dessert, Gary. It could.
It's so versatile. It's good.
It is good. And again, I just want to say, this is some of our plated up recipes. We have them free here at the office, and we have a numerous of different recipes, and they are free. A lot of times you say, are they really free? Yes, they are free. The University of Kentucky sends these out, and we use them for different things, and we try to keep them with the season. Okay? Right. And we like this one around this time of holidays. Okay?
Fantastic. And again, contact the Extension office here in Marion County or in Nelson or Washington, if that's where you are, and get your copy as well. And I've been here with Juanita Herron. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays to everybody out there.
Yes, Merry Christmas. And I know that this is the first part of December, but just get out and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the holidays with friends and families. Right, Gary?
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
This has been Gary White for Channel 6, Central Kentucky Television.